Okay, let's talk about this, man. Spoilers. So, if you guys are jumping into this video, I have a lot to say about the Alien franchise and just overall Alien Covenant and Prometheus and what Ridley Scott's doing and how you know what? If you look at the original Alien and if you look at a lot of the Alien films, but the original Alien, they're pretty dumb characters, okay? And Alien Covenant, once again, these characters are so very stupid. Same with Prometheus. So, character script wise, it's still a mess, okay? Going forward, this is still a mess, and it's not doing it's not doing great, all right? It's not doing like Prometheus numbers. It's not even doing Prometheus numbers. It's doing what it needs to do to not get another sequel, but it's gonna happen. Fox is gonna keep churning out these Alien films. I mean, what can I say? But what's crazy is just moving forward. All right, where do we go from here? I think a lot of people have been asking the question, like, okay, so here's the thing that really gets me going, like, okay, do I like it? Do I not like it? And that's David. David as a character. David is a mustache twirling villain in Alien Covenant. Like, he's really a villain. They really took that up a level compared to Prometheus. Prometheus, he was a villain, but he was like a childlike villain where he was just playing with stuff. He was curiosity. He's an android. He has curiosity. We find out he's built for creation. They want him to create stuff. Or Wayland does, Guy Pearce. So in here, but he is just going off the wall. Not only does he wants to destroy stuff, and then he wants to create his own. He wants to be a god. That's what I took out of it. He definitely wants to be a god. That's why he took out the engineers. That's why he wants to wipe out humanity. He wants to create the perfect species, okay? And that's where I think a lot of us are torn. We're like, okay, so the xenomorph was not created by the engineers. They somewhat created it, but they did not create the xenomorphs that we know today. David created the xenomorphs that we know today. That's where emotionally, that's where I'm just very split, okay? I do get the message that Ridley Scott's trying to hammer it in about life, about death, about creation, about our maker. Get it. I get that, okay? I get that. But David creating the xenomorphs, man, that's real. That kind of, I love how the first Alien, I love how all the previous Alien films, that the xenomorphs are basically, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. These xenomorphs, these eggs have been here forever. Yes, there's a mystery about it, especially the big engineer. Like, what is with the engineer? Is that even an engineer? Because it's not the same size as the engineer that we all know. But the one thing is, like, what, you know, the xenomorphs are a mystery. They're clouded by mystery. It's like Yoda's past, okay? Like Yoda, this is why I don't want Yoda to have a standalone film, because we don't need to know how his origin was created. We just know that this is the most powerful being, Jedi master to ever walk walked whatever planet he was in, and the xenomorphs are the most deadliest creatures to ever roam anywhere in the universe, okay? These things are terrifying. That's what brings most of the terrifying aspect to it, is because we don't know how they're created, and we know that they are just so unstoppable, and they are the perfect creature. They have fucking acid for blood. So I like the sense that, you know, they really kept to the creation, and David creating something that, you know, he's playing Frankenstein. This is basically Frankenstein, okay? He's Frankenstein. This is his monster, and he has created life. So I like that aspect to it. I like that idea to it, but I don't necessarily like it for the xenomorphs. You know, I don't like it for this alien. I don't like knowing that it was an android who was actually pretty pissed at Weyland. And not only that, what got me really upset was Elizabeth Shaw. Okay, Elizabeth Shaw, like, I knew she was gonna die eventually, but the way they just really killed her off in the Alien Covenant was absolutely terrible. Now, talking about the future of Alien series, I thought Catherine Waterstein did great. She Daniels, that she did pretty good. She held her own. I think she's dead. I think she's going to die in the next film. I think all of them are going to die. I think we're just going to have more. I think we might have new characters, so to speak. The people who are still asleep. I think we're going to get introduced to the other colony, so to speak. But I think Daniels is a goner. I think Tennessee's a goner moving forward. But what I would have really loved is, I would have loved just like, when I heard that there was going to be another kind of continuation, I would have loved to see Elizabeth Shaw's character expanded more, you know, because she's been through so much shit in Prometheus, that to have her character end up the way she did in Alien Covenant was a slap to everybody's face. I did not like that at all, and especially David saying how kind she was, this and that, had a little fucking little cemetery for her, but then rediscovering that she was experimented on. I mean, I did not find that. It was horrible. It was horrible. I really was pissed off by that. I was just like, you telling me I was watching Prometheus and all that shit, and it didn't really matter? This character was just kind of swept under the rug. It would have been awesome. It would have been just awesome. It just did not. I appreciate the low budget. I appreciate the horror aspect of Alien Covenant, but what I don't appreciate is you setting so much stuff up for Prometheus and going into this, and you're just kill off the one character that you could have done so many different things. You could have set the timeline so far ahead where she discovered something, or you could have just continued with this character, but you chose not to. And I get that for the narrative that you wanted to present, but I think us being invested in your movie like Prometheus and going on to this one, we deserve better, especially when you're going to use David again. And I get you're using David, and maybe David is the main character from Prometheus, but I think Elizabeth Shaw's character deserved a little bit more than just being in a little short and being just killed off so horrifically like that. And just, it would have been nice. It would have been definitely nice if they would have took it a different route. So moving forward to the another Alien film, I really don't view these movies in the same. I think AVP, Alien vs Predator, I think they're in their own separate universe at this point. I would have loved to see another Alien vs Predator done right, but I don't know if we're ever gonna get that, because the Predator lore and Alien lore, how the Predator saw after these things like that's thrown out the window. That's gone. All right, don't even think about that. AVP is its own separate thing, and we're moving on from there. Even going back to some of the Alien films, it's hard to say what if this is kind of like a little bit of a soft reboot. But I mean they're doing things. I don't know. It's very confusing, especially when you had like a xenomorph that was in the Prometheus that the engineers had on the wall, and then we find out that they didn't really create them. I mean, it's very odd with a lot of things that they're doing. What I do appreciate is the different kind of creatures, and I think we're going to get more different kind of creatures moving forward. I think the xenomorphs, David wants to perfect them, but I think there's going to be, because the xenomorph I saw in Alien Covenant, it looked like a xenomorph, it killed like a xenomorph, sort of. It was so agile, it was CGI, I get that, so, but it just didn't seem like that xenomorph that we saw in Alien, in Sigourney Weaver's Alien, but it might have just because of the CGI and it's not a guy in a suit anymore. But I really feel like that's not the exact Alien, and David's probably, maybe David created some different kind of, is going to create some different kind of creatures. I mean, we had the Neomorphs in the film, which I thought were cool. They're all white. There wasn't too much color palette to them, but I really did like how kind of these little fuckers were so deadly. So moving forward to the next movies, I really feel like we're going to have more different kind of creatures, because we already got that in Prometheus, right? We had that big old squid taking down that engineer. We had the Deacon, but we find out that the Deacon is not even, we don't even know what happens to the Deacon. The only way you know what happens to the Deacon is it's mentioned in the comics that they did for like the follow-up of Prometheus. If you want to hear about that story, you can go to Mr. H Reviews, because he does a great job in clarifying a lot of the Alien comics and the Predator comics. But yeah, the Deacon was created, and then you had, because this goo is able to, and especially the spores that came out when these guys were, stepping on the black shit, and like little dust were going into their ear and so on. I mean, we find out that there is this goo itself can create different kind of creatures. I mean, it doesn't just David kind of just perfected the Neomorphs, which was kind of weird. Like, okay, so the spider-like thing, like, how did that come to be? How did he get the, like, it's still weird. And a lot of people are asking the question, like, moving forward, what about the Alien Queen? And moving forward, I think the Alien Queen is going to be presented. I think David is going to create the Alien Queen. I mean, at this point, it's all about creation. I think he's going to know that soon there might be a time where he might get ripped apart or whatever, and he wants to pump these things out. So in order to pump these things out, he wants to create a queen. So I think the Alien Queen is still going to be canon, and of course it is, because Aliens is still canon. But I think he will create an Alien Queen going down the line. We might even get to see an Alien King, which would be pretty tight, but I think the Alien Queen is definitely on the list for the agenda and moving forward, especially for Ridley Scott. I think we're gonna have different kind of xenomorphs as well moving forward, or different kind of like aspect. Maybe not even a xenomorph. We're definitely gonna have different kind of creature like things where they don't really, maybe not even resemble a xenomorph. Maybe David is so curious and wants to see what else he could create. That's what I feel like moving forward. What Ridley Scott, and after seeing Alien Covenant, is that they want David to be that villain where he creates, I think at one time they're going to call this film Alien Paradise. David is going to create a paradise, a deadly paradise, where there is no humanity that can step foot there. There's nothing. These are what is going to be the dominant of the food chain. But David himself is going to get fucking ripped apart. I feel like David's demise is going to be his own. It's so, to me, predictable that the thing that David creates will be the thing that will be his demise moving forward, because I feel like David is definitely going to be in it for the maybe 2 more movies. I didn't know they want to do quite a bit of movies, but he's definitely going to be in the next one. I think he's definitely going to be in like just 2 more. I feel like they want, this guy is the defiant villain of these films. I just want better writing now. I want better writing for the characters. I want smarter writing. Okay, I want smarter writing for these characters, where they're not all stupid and it's not a B movie. We're not doing that, Ridley. We're not going B movie anymore. At one point, this should have been a B movie, but it's not. You have a responsibility of just like David, creating something different, new, and badass and kick-ass. Of course, this is a prequel. Of course, we want to get to the first Alien film. I get that, but I feel like you have an opportunity. You set up a lot of stuff from Prometheus, and you had an opportunity to really go a crazy direction, and we didn't get to do that. We didn't do that for Alien Covenant. We went back to our roots, which is fine for the safe route, but it still stumbled watching the film, especially a lot of the lore now that we have in Alien. So moving forward, like I said, we're gonna have new creatures. I don't necessarily think it could be a play on David really perfecting the xenomorphs, but it also could be creatures that we haven't really, like the squid-like creature that we've seen, and it could be a paradise full of different creatures, especially now, like the colony, right? The colony was supposed to breed, supposed to breed humanity on have new life on this new planet. That's not the case anymore. I feel like those xenomorphs are the little spiders that David had. I feel like now he's going to make his own paradise. He's going to create a planet full of different kind of creatures, but the xenomorphs are going to be the top dog of all of them. It's going to be crazy if they do it right, but I feel like that's what they're trying to do, and eventually David's demise is going to be the creatures themselves. David is the Frankenstein of this new era. So that's really all I have to say. I wanted to say a little bit of what I think might happen in the future, and that's what I really feel like is going to happen. An alien paradise, maybe just on the horizon. I really am so disappointed on what they did to Elizabeth Shaw's character. I feel like they could have just definitely did something different. I know her demise was eventually going to happen, but the way that it was conducted in Alien Covenant was bullshit. It was a slap to the face. I hated it. It's a slap to the face to the actors. It was a slap to the face to a lot of us people who watched Prometheus and was kind of like rooting for her. So it was terrible. But David as a villain, I think a lot of people have to see like inside themselves, like, do they like it or do they not? I'm still mixed about it. At one aspect I do like it, at one aspect I don't like the fact that he created these xenomorphs either. So, and this is not exactly the xenomorph that we saw in Sigourney Weaver's Alien, or Ridley Scott's first Alien film. Ridley Scott is the godfather of this franchise, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's the one that created this. He visually did, and he put a lot of input into it, but the two writers who created the original Alien, that's who did it. So that's my thoughts on overall the Alien franchise, and hopefully we do that's my dog. Hopefully we move forward to a better Alien film than what we got. I really did enjoy the film, but overall I feel like there could have been more. Right, Balto? Right? Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for listening. I'm Dan Megadance Son. You can find more of my reviews on my YouTube channel and more of my discussions. And like the video if you like it, and comment below. So thank you guys. Bye.